You know, Khalil Gibran says music is the language of spirit. Music is the language of spirit, of God, and it can be heard in the soul, because that's where spirit, God, speaks to us, is in our soul. So I guess it has to be residue from Friday night. It has to be. But I want us all to awaken that dancing feeling in us. Rumi said, now what is it when you're dancing? If you saw us all out here on Friday night, I think almost everybody was out here just having a great time to the 70s, but it was wonderful, just feeling joy and happiness for being alive. No judgy, but just happiness to be here, to be awake, and to be with community. But Rumi says it's important, Rumi, the Sufi mystic, says it's important to dance even when you're broken open. To dance when you've torn the Band-Aid off. To dance in the midst of fighting. To dance in your blood. And to dance when you're perfectly free. And I think what he means by that is when we really plug in to spirit, when we awaken that divine wisdom within us, we know that every single thing that happens to us, every experience we have, is for our own growth and awakening and connecting to that greater purpose, that greater thing. Life is for us and never, ever, ever against us. So the topic, awakening wisdom, is more than just gaining knowledge and going, oh, that's cool, I just learned a new thing. I love to do that. How many of you love to research new things, check in on things? It's so fun. Yeah, we love it. But it's more than that. Really awakening the wisdom is where you plug into our true selves and the divine source from which we're made. When we plug into that, we really recognize and know and embrace the fact that we only have one purpose here. And our purpose is to express spirit, to express God, to express life through wisdom, intelligence, love, compassion, beauty, creativity. Need I go on? All the virtues. That's why we're here. That's what we're here to do. That, divine wisdom is already implanted in us. It's not something we go seeking for outside of us. It's already there. It's like a seed. And when Rumi said it's broken open, that seed, any seed to grow and bloom, has to be broken open. So you and I need to take all the experiences of our life and start opening up to something greater, something more, to really have the faith and know that life is always, always for us and never, ever against us, even though it may feel that way. Holmes reminds us we live in a perfect universe, which needs to be seen mentally, which to me means we need to be aware. We need to be aware that we live in a perfect universe. When I was thinking of that, there's a little more to that, but when I was thinking of that, I was thinking of the music of the spheres, the ancient wisdom that all the universe works together and actually creates a harmonious sound. We may not be able to hear it with our human ears, but our soul hears it. And if we can step back from all the chaos in the world and all the chaos in our lives or whatever, take that step back and really remember there's something greater at work. And even though we can't see it, it is all working together for good. Rumi knows that it needs to be seen mentally before it can be part of our experience. But when we recognize it mentally and feel it in our hearts, we know that there is a solution to every problem we have, every need we have, if we can go deep and find it and get it. But it takes time to do that. I don't know if you've noticed, but the world seems a bit noisy right now. A bit noisy for sure, but anyway, it's noisy. And our minds are constantly filled with noise until we quiet them down. We have the volume control. Nobody else, we have the volume control. And we have to learn how to quiet our minds so we can get to that wisdom. And I think, Barbara, you said in your beautiful reading from Rumi, in the quietude is where we can hear the voice of God. The quote I had is, Rumi said, "The quieter you become, the more able you are to hear." the more quieter you get, the more able you are to hear the wisdom, the inspiration, the voice of spirit that speaks in the language of feeling. You can feel what you're supposed to do and then think the thoughts that hold the feeling to move us in the right direction. But we have to get quiet. You ask Jesus the time he spent 40 days and 40 nights to quiet down so he could do his amazing work. And all of the people on our wall here talk about the importance of meditation, quietness, quieting down the external voices so we can let the voice of spirit awaken to us. I have a little book called 1 Minute Wisdom, and it's by a fellow named Anthony Mello, and he has different words that he gives little stories from the master, little tiny stories. So this is what he says about wisdom. He said, it always pleased the master to hear people recognize their ignorance. Wisdom tends to grow in proportion to one's awareness of their own ignorance. Well, his disciples went, well, what the heck does that mean? How could that be wisdom? And he responded, when you come to see you are not as wise today as you thought you were yesterday, then you become wiser today. Huh? When today you recognize, oh, I'm not quite as smart as I was yesterday. I don't know as much. I need more to learn. I was a little ignorant of my own wisdom. Then you become wiser because you're more open to become something more. That's for us. That's the wisdom for us. And that's from Anthony. Kirk and I on Saturdays, it depends on what we've been doing, and this past week was a bit busy and fun for us, but so Saturday, Kirk comes early. We both get up really early, and I go to my office and start working, get my inspiration going, and Kirk goes to work like at 6 o'clock before the other church comes so he can hibernate in his office to get his work done. And then when we come home, he comes home. Sometimes we do something fun before he comes back to get the center cleaned up for today, but sometimes we're too tired and we watch a movie. Now, I am not recommending this movie. Where are you, Kirk? Would you agree with me? Well, okay. Well, Kirk often picks the movies, and no, it's a good movie, but I'll tell you what, we were sobbing. I mean, we weren't just, we cry during movies all the time. Good ones, bad ones, funny ones, it doesn't matter. But we were, we were literally sobbing. It's a true story, but you know what it has in it? A dog. Pure love in action. The name of the movie is Arthur the King. Sorry, Richard, you're the king. But you're the king, I know. But Arthur the King, and it's a true story. And it breaks your heart open. It does. It's true unconditional love. And if we're really talking about awakening wisdom, how do you do that? You love more. You love bigger. You love harder. You love through the pain. You love when you tear the Band-Aid off. You love in the midst of fighting. You do it all. Ernest Holmes said, love is within us. It cannot be destroyed, but it can be ignored. You know, in the Old Testament, in the book of Proverbs, it talks about love and divine wisdom. You know, for so long we have the masculine energy, the power of God that created the world. The power of God creates the world, but we forget the feminine energy. And in Proverbs, it talks about Lady Wisdom, Sophia, which means wisdom in Greek, in ancient Greek, Sophia, which is divine wisdom. And Lady Wisdom speaks for herself when she says, she was with God before creation. She was the master worker through whom God created. She is called, King Solomon called her the fashioner and mother of all good things. And here's just a partial list. Intelligent, holy, unique, unpolluted, all-powerful, and penetrating everything. We need to realize we need that power of God to make us strong in faith and knowing. But we need that feminine energy of God to be creative, to love more, to love bigger. We need to do that. So we need to embrace that feminine energy of Sophia, the divine feminine. All of us, we're all balanced, and we all have the male and female energies in us that we have to balance. I want to share with you something that Ralph Waldo Emerson said, which I think is reminded me a bit of this. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "Trust yourself." We have to learn to trust ourselves. Every heart vibrates to that iron string. That iron string. Well, I had to think, what does the iron string mean? So I looked up some definitions of that, and I didn't like what they said. But I like what I thought of. It's that iron string is what connects all of us. All of us have that solid connection to God. There isn't a person that doesn't. It's in there for all of us. We can count on it. That's what gives us faith. We have that solid connection to God. But Emerson goes on, and a little later, not in the same writing, but he goes on and says, "Be sure you hook your earthly wagon to a star," which means we're already connected. I mean, we've already got it, but we have to wake up to it. We have to realize that we already have what we need right here. So we have to consciously open our mind to something greater. And that star to me means the faith in something greater. We need to have faith that there's more in this world going on than we can see. And we have a part to play. We're the co-creative partner with Spirit. We're here to manifest the love and compassion. Joseph Campbell said the purpose of our journey, the whole purpose of our human journey, is compassion. To learn how to be together. That's the music of the spheres. To learn how to work together in this magical, creative process. The music of the spheres. And then the Dalai Lama said, love and compassion are necessities, not luxuries. Love and compassion are necessities, not luxuries. Without them, humanity cannot survive. Maybe you should watch that movie. Maybe you should. It doesn't hurt to be broken up. I mean, my eyes were a little puffy this morning, but yeah. You know, the movie showed we all want to make the right decisions. And really in the movie, there wasn't a wrong decision, but there was one that came from love and compassion. And it was a good teacher. So we have to decide in our life what we can do to trust our inner voice more, to let our heart be our guide, to heal it enough. It takes a lot of healing because the heart gets hurt a lot. We have to heal it. We have to go to our groups and share with other people to come to a greater understanding of all of it. I wanted to share with you something from Joseph. I love Joseph Campbell, Joseph Campbell's Companion. I love it because it answers everything I love little bite-sized wisdom things. So here's one. This is from his book, Joseph Campbell's Compassion. And I've read pieces of it before, but I'm just going to read all of my favorite lines. Nothing is made out of perfection. Darn it. Nothing is made out of perfection. Every creative process involves breaking something up. Flexibility. Be open to change. Break it up. Do something new. What we are living for really is the experience of life, both the pleasure and the pain. He says some hard things, but it's true. Opportunity to find deeper powers within ourselves comes when life seems the most challenging. That's when the opportunities come to be a better, bigger, wiser person, to embrace the bigger piece of wisdom. And here's what he says. This is what I went to look for in his book, and then I found all these other things I liked, so I thought I'd better include those too. But he says, we're not really alive until we can say, he says yay, but I'm just going to say yes. We are not really alive until we can say yes to it all. What does that mean to you? Where in your life right now is it easy to say, yes, that's great? And where is it a little harder to find the yes? To know that there's some good packed in there, and we've got to find it. That's our job to do. So we have to think, yes, I love that, and it's so hard to find that yes. But that's why we're here, because we have what we need to know inside of us. We just need to go in that quiet place and trust our wisdom and our inner intelligence and expand our faith in knowing there's always something more. And then he says, awe, like A-W-E, awe is what moves us forward. That's like when beauty breaks us open, when we get to those places that just startle us awake, when either the awe of beauty in the landscape, in the environment, or the awe when you see human kindness, what you talked about, Ron, the human kindness, awake and alive, that will break me open anytime. When we see the kindness of people working together for good, for each other, they move past all these other labels and things. When kindness steps in, it moves past anything that separates us and reminds us of what is good and right and true. And that brings us together, that awe. That's so beautiful. And the last thing he says, which is what I know without question, he says, having a sense of humor saves you. How many times have you been feeling upset or angry or hurt or mad, and something funny comes your way, and you realize how silly it was to be upset? I had a really hard time with my children because they knew how to make me laugh. It was really hard time. It was hard to raise them because no matter what, when I tried to share my wisdom, they had me laughing. You know, it was just a different situation, and it's beautiful. But I want you to sit and think right now. Well, you are sitting. You don't have to sit. Just stay where you are. But I want you to just stay for a minute and undo yourself for a minute, because we're going to take a few minutes, and I know that we have that beautiful meditation in the morning that gets people just aligned and balanced. Let's take a minute right now and just breathe in for a minute and know that there's something greater at work right now that really allows us to breathe, allows our heart to beat, our blood to flow, allows us to be open and available all the time to something more, allows us to be creative. We have a power that's so much greater than we are, that we can depend on, that we can claim, that we can partner with right here and now, to know even greater truths than we know in this moment, as we shed some of our human ignorance to open up to divine truths and divine wisdom that are here to guide us through inspiration and insight and awareness and connection. How blessed we are in this and every moment to be able to open, to grow, to change, and to know that we are on an endless path, an upward spiral of evolution, of creation, of understanding, that in every moment we can be more of ourselves. We can step beyond the lesser to grow into the greater, keeping with us all the experiences that helped us grow, but we can hold them in greater understanding, that we can be a more beneficial presence for ourselves and for this world. When we come together in understanding and knowing that we are right where we are meant to be, right here and right now. Each one of us on our own unique and special path of awakening, our own unique and special path of opening and becoming, that within each of us lives the divine. Knowing right here and right now, we can choose to live from that divine center, to be open and available to ourselves and our own learning, and to be the mentors and helpers for others to do just exactly the same. So I just want to close this little prayer, meditation, whatever we call it this morning, with just a practice that I learned from Pema Chodron, the Tonglen practice, where you breathe in pain and you let out joy. Take a situation for yourself right now where there's some discomfort, some unpleasantness, some not knowing, something that's uncomfortable. And then what you do is you just breathe in that problem, that difficulty, and breathe out whatever it is, the solution. If it's love, if it's peace, if it's wisdom, whatever it is. So just do that now for yourself. And now if we can do it for someone that we love or care about, somebody in our own immediate circle of life, of friends, of family, somebody you know that's in pain right now. And we could bring in pain, we can bring in healing, we could bring in difficulty and bring and release peace, whatever it is for that situation. Let's just do that in our own particular place and space, breathing in whatever pain or discomfort a family or friend, family member has. And breathe out love, healing, peace, joy, understanding, connection, whatever it is. And last but not least, I'd like us all together, because we are greater than the sum of our parts. When we do something collectively, we have more power than we even understand. I'd like to breathe in just the problems we see in this world today. There's so many in so many different places. And wherever your heart is called, I'm just going to invite us to breathe in that problem just for the world. And then breathe out love and healing, peace, kindness, connection, togetherness, and joy. Let your heart sing and your feet dance, knowing that joy and love and goodness are at hand, right here and right now and always. And so it is.